I guess my question for Steve is, how do you change the incentive landscape for Republican legislators so that they think that the reasons to support marriage equality, the political reasons, are stronger than the reasons to go against? I mean, you saw state senators in New York who voted for it and then lost primaries. How do you change it so that they're more afraid to say no than to say yes?
Look, if you look at the hundreds of Republican legislators that have voted in favor of marriage equality, you can arguably point to a maximum of 2 where they were impacted by it and they lost seats in a Republican primary. And so despite the noise in Ohio and the threats directed at Senator Rob Portman, the fact is that Rob Portman, in coming out for marriage equality, will be held harmless by the Republican primary electorate. He won't lose his seat. So when people see, members of Congress see that their colleagues who have been in favor of marriage equality don't suffer a political penalty for it, I think you'll see more and more come out. Politicians have a finely tuned instinct for self-preservation. And the reality is that just a few short years ago, people, when they would go out and talk about this issue, and they would say marriage is between a man and a woman, and they would get cheers in the middle of the electorate, the whole dynamic has changed. And that doesn't get you cheers in the middle of the electorate anymore. And there's no upside to going out and, I think, picking fights with the gay community on this issue. That's why so many Republican politicians simply don't want to talk about the issue anymore. That is the middle ground in the journey between being against something to migrating to being for something, is let's just stop talking about it. We don't want to talk about it. It's a distraction issue anymore. So I think that you will see this issue continue to evolve. I think the reality is that the next Republican nominee will be opposed to marriage equality, but I don't think the one after that is going to be. And I think that's the direction that the country's moving on. And I hope more and more Republicans will choose to get on the right side of history on this issue. And I think you'll see that happening over the next couple of years.
Anthony?
I think for us, the key thing is what Steve just said, is the idea that if we can get folks to be neutral or say nothing, that's success.